Kicking it off first with Spider-Man Brand New Day. They put this very early in the panel. I was really impressed with the entire situation. I love the fact that they wanted to show us the tone of the film and they didn't do like an action sizzle. There's plenty of action they showed deeper in, but this is a very different tone of Spider-Man film. If you're a fan of Spider-Man comics, if you're a fan of Spider-Man in animation, if you're a fan of Spider-Man in video games, you know that Spider-Man has Parker luck, and that generally means he is down on his luck and going through it and in the throes of everything being misfortune, a lot going wrong. And I love the trilogy we have with Tom Holland. I didn't realize the absence of a certain melancholy. Obviously, he's going through like angst with, being a kid in school. He's going through like nerves and anxiety. He's going through like trying to aspire. He's going through like trying to improve and all the things that like a human being does. But there's a sense of melancholy that is in No Way Home. Certainly, like, the rain and that feeling, like that definitely made me feel like a Spider-Man comic for sure. But there's something different about this trailer where it's palpably lived in. Like he's had time in this reality. He's had time without anyone that knows who he is. So the overall tone, I really, really vibe with. The balls to show a scene in its entirety that is so tonally different than the trilogy, that is so tonally different than most comic book fare, that is so tonally different than even how we associate Tom Holland Spider-Man, I adore. I really love that Cinemacon took this character who we know and love and let us see a different side of him that isn't like completely removed from what we've seen, but it is a more serious, more somber, more adult. It definitely feels like what comic fans want, and it feels grounded like we've wanted, while also feeling like it's not ignoring how we got here. So really impressed the tone. The end, actually, let's go through a little bit. So that's the overall feelings and vibe. You've probably seen the posters. I put one of them in the thumbnail as the thumbnail, but the actual play-by-play of this footage was really interesting because it opens with a scene we've seen. It opens with the scene of the bodega, and we get a bit of an extension of that scene. We see him actually have the surprise of Ned coming in, a little bit like stronger beat, and then like the yearning, but doesn't get up and talk to him. And as he leaves, he walks out and we get this beautiful shot of New York. And man, does it feel good to have Spider-Man in New York and feel that New York vibe. We get all of this. And then he goes right into the party. So the scene you see in the trailer that's the party is the scene immediately following the bodega scene. He makes up an excuse of being a neighbor, a friendly neighbor. So he just goes into this party. He crashes. I know I was wondering how he ended up at a party with, MJ and Ned. I know I was wondering a lot of the things the internet has been. This answers that question. It also has a really cute moment where he's in Ned's room and he's basically reminiscing. And while reminiscing, picks up a Lego Chewbacca, and they built the Death Star together. Really cute little throwback moment. But then he looks up and he sees the board that so many of you lovelies pointed out to me in my trailer breakdown of all the Spider-Man. Like I did that video within a minute of the trailer cutting. I went and filmed. I didn't catch that detail. We get that as a scene of Spider-Man noticing this vision board of Ned trying to figure out who Spider-Man is, saying that he saved him a long time ago a couple of times. Like really fun dynamic here, especially because there's a lot of people in New York that have probably had that, but obviously Peter knows an entire side of a story that Ned can't. And then we find out he's built a Spidey tracker app, and it's this really cute, like 16-bit app, but a really fun beat. And you guys are going to see this footage soon, so I hope me describing it to you. If it's something you'd rather just see, please come back in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. But there's this really cute beat where he's describing, who he thinks is Spider-Man. He's like, I definitely think he's from Queens. And it feels so just earnest and great. And Peter's like listening, looks concerned, but not too concerned. It's a really cute beat. And then he's like, I've narrowed it down to 2 major suspects. And he lifts a little flap, and it's Flash Thompson and Mr. Harrington. Great little cameo, great not cameo, but great reference, throwback, acknowledgement of the past. Great way to see Flash. Obviously, it's great to see Mr. Harrington in an actual comedy beat. But yeah, this beat really works. MJ comes in, and when MJ comes in, you feel just this pit drop. It's a Tame Impala song that's playing, Loser, or something like apropos. And basically with that, you feel the air get sucked out of the room, and you feel how much he loves her, man. There's this tradition of Peter Parker's falling in love with their MJs. Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst dated. The Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone, that's a Gwen, I understand, relationship is of legend. And a rumor has it Amy Pascal actually warned Tom Holland and Zendaya not to date. These guys are getting married. These guys are in love, and you feel it, man. Destin Daniel Cretton. This man knows how to shoot drama. This man knows how to shoot action. If you want to watch some of his drama and character work, you go watch yourself some Wonder Man or some short-term 12. If you want to watch some of his action, check out Shang-Chi. He's a bit of a genius. Genius combination. Perfect director for this. Passionate Spider-Man fan. But the scene of MJ walking in and just that, like, pit you all feel, like remembering that feeling of love and yearning. And then MJ's like, hey, who's this? And they have a really cute interaction. There's a great Aunt May reference in the interaction. I don't want to give too much away. I want you guys to get to enjoy the scene. But there's a great way of acknowledging May and loving on her. She then has to leave. And she takes the flowers that he got at the bodega. And they have a little cute moment. Basically, he's welcome in the house now. He's a friendly neighbor. And then Paul comes in. I think it's Paul. I don't know. It's an actor that, popped up in a Star Wars show. I don't know his work very well, but the new boyfriend comes in. But one of the interesting beats that happens in between is there's a line of dialogue about a soulless corporation. So MJ had just, interviewed for a job. Sorry, this is off of memory, and it was 45 minutes ago now, and I was so excited, and there's a lot going on, so I'm sorry I'm throwing around your timeline a little bit. But when she was leaving the room, Ned asks, how'd the interview go? And she said, I got the job, but I turned it down. And then she describes it as a soulless corporation. So I think there are two potential Easter eggs in this first scene. One of them is maybe that's Oscorp. The other of them, I'm a bad narrator, is the kegs. He goes, man, I'm a bad narrator. Ned is getting beer at the bodega, and he gets these mini kegs, and they look, I wrote it down. They're these little mini kegs, and there was something written that makes me think Jackal, like very specifically Jackal. And it's on the side of the keg, and I know Tom Holland is a huge fan of the Clone Saga. I know he wants to make the Clone Saga. I think it's either going to be this level of like nod towards Jackal, and that's a way of like kind of having it be a thing, or it literally says Green Jackal beer. So it says Green Jackal beer on the beer, and all of that just gives me so much hope and heart as a Clone Saga fan, and also just getting these Easter eggs and these details. So this footage really worked for me. I really dug the scene for its tone and for the ballsiness to make that your spectacle, your presentation at Cinemacon. And then, of course, because it is, a trailer-esque beat, they did give us an action montage. We got after that emotional scene, Peter leaves. He can't take seeing MJ with her new boyfriend, understandably. He leaves, and then we cut to a little extended moment of him diving off the roof that we got in the first trailer, a really cool like building slide, and that then turns into some action montagey stuff. And then we get a Department of Damage Control scene that is Spider-Man comedy. That is so Spider-Man. That is him in a beautiful suit, man. The suit looks so good in motion. It is actually a suit. It is moving. It's not CGI. So it looks amazing, and you can feel the acrobatics of Tom Holland that he was cast for, getting to actually play without it being painted over. And the wisecracks are really solid. Again, I'm not trying to give everything away. I just want you guys to know it's fantastic. So absolutely worked for me. I'm really excited for the footage to be, released as another trailer or as part of the movie, however they do it. I tried to give you guys the broad strokes without giving away some of the jokes, but also catching those little Easter eggs. And this was a highlight of Cinemacon for me, no matter what.